about it. Get your copies while they last. Stop the presses.
And now for something completely different.
There are no safe spaces here. The truth shall make you free. So you want the truth, but can you handle the truth? And what did we learn? Well, here's another fine mess you've gotten us into.
The Craig L. Hayes Show. Just thinking, where we talk about everything else.
Hello, America, family, friends, and listeners all around this planet we call home. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show, Just Thinking. It is the 7th of January, 2026. The new year is in full force, and we are moving quickly. And we're going to talk a little bit about what's going to happen at the end of this month. And we are coming to you from the Northern Command here in Enterprise, Utah. And it's a beautiful day. I think it's going to get up to 40 degrees today. It was down like 22 last night, 23, something like that. Anyway, that's not important. Let's talk about the end of this month. We're going to have another potential government shutdown. 7 days ago, the Obamacare subsidies for the COVID enhanced Obamacare subsidies ended. And people are seeing their premiums go up and everybody's freaking out. Let's talk about Obamacare. Let's talk about why we should be even putting $1 into it. Because I swear that piece of garbage president that we had told the American people that you can keep the doctors, you can keep everything that you have the way you have it, and you'll actually be paying less by $2,500 a month less. Well, for some people, that's probably accurate. If you're one of these people who got onto the Obamacare, which is only a small percentage of the population of the United States, like 6% or something like that, are using Obamacare to pay for their health care and being subsidized heavily. We were told it wasn't going to have to be subsidized. It wasn't going to have to be paid for, that the cost would come down and save the government money. The cost would save insurance companies, people. Money would be saved. It's unbelievable how awesome this healthcare system is going to be when we're all done and we've got it in there. And the Democrats passed it by themselves. Not one Republican vote for Obamacare. And not one Republican vote to keep it going. In fact, we had an opportunity to get rid of Obamacare when President Trump got in there in his first term, but we had a traitor, turncoat, piece of garbage, phony baloney, rhino named John McCain, who voted to keep it, and that stopped us from getting rid of this nightmare that all these years down the road now have manifested itself. We were lied to by the Democrats. Nothing new on that. Absolutely nothing new on being lied to by Democrats. They are the party of lies and deceit. So, Obamacare is 100% their baby. Obamacare falling apart and doing nothing but costing waves of money is completely their fault. They're fine with it. You know, I'm not saying that they're wringing their hands of saying, well, I don't know what we're going to do because everything we said, it's not coming true. The costs aren't coming down. They knew it was not going to come down. The costs were impossible to come down. Nothing comes down in an economy. Costs only go up. They only go up. Please show me one time in the history of anything that goes on in this world where the costs of something plummet, unless you're in a deflationary system. And if you are in a deflationary system, it doesn't really matter because everything's falling apart and we're going to go into a depression. So we're not there yet. So tell me right now that healthcare has always been going up. The cost of healthcare has been going up steadily since its inception. But Obama said it was going to come down by $2,500 a year. A lie. Democrats knew it was a lie because everything just goes up. They just needed to get it in there and make sure that if anybody tried to fix the system or tried to get rid of it, they would be labeled as trying to kill people out there, and that's what they do. They constantly are saying Republicans are just trying to kill you and take your health care from you. No, we're trying to end the lie of what Obamacare was supposed to be. So then we get, after a couple of years of Obamacare being in there, and it's already starting to get to the point where it's needing subsidies and all kinds of financial aid to keep it alive. Thank you, John McCain, you piece of garbage. You one of the worst people in Washington, D.C., and you actually tried running for president. Jeez. Useless. 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 You should have just been a Democrat. Sorry that your family had to put up with you. That's very mean on my part, but I really don't like the guy, never have. Never really supported him for president. Never thought of him as much more than anything other than just a Democrat in Republicans' party. You know, Rhino. And he proved he was. His legacy can show whatever he was, a tortured Vietnam vet, et cetera, et cetera. Sorry about that. A horrible thing to have to go through. But, you know, you didn't really do anything else for this nation that made it better. Your legacy amongst your friends is probably secure, but amongst us who have reason, logic, and we look at things in reality, you weren't really that valuable as a so-called Republican. Anyhow, it's not about John McCain. Let's move on to somebody else. Obama, the liar. So anyways, after Obama got his little way in there, the Democrats took and made this their bill, their problem, their collapsing system. Joe Biden gets into office, and we have this thing called COVID going on. Well, people aren't working so much, because Democrats closed the country down. Democrats closed the country down. Republicans didn't. Republicans stayed open. Democrats closed everything down they could. The big lie of COVID, the COVID scam. And we had to help people out with their Obamacare insurance premiums because things were costing just way too much for these poor people. And so they decided to put even more money. Democrats, once again, only Democrats, voted to put even more money and subsidies into the system for Obamacare. No Republicans voted for it because they knew it was a bad idea. You know, the better idea would have been to say, okay, the scam and the lie is over. Everyone go back to work. Everything's going back to normal. But Democrats don't do that. Democrats want to take and destroy your life and make you dependent on them and government for your very survival. And if you die along the way, hey, so what? As long as it improves their power, they don't care. So here we are. Trump comes into office, and after almost a year, we get to that point where the subsidies are about to run out, and we have to keep the government rolling. The Democrats decide that they're going to take and stand at the subsidies from COVID, the enhanced COVID subsidies for Obamacare need to be re-upped, reauthorized, more money pumped into the system for a failing government program. And Chuck Schumer and his little allies, the evil Democrats, all get together and say, hey, we're going to stand on this hill. We're not moving. We either get that money or we're going to shut the government down. Republicans go, shut it down. We don't care. We're not going to put money into that system. And all of a sudden now it's the Republicans' fault that people aren't getting taken care of on Obamacare. Remember, Republicans never voted for any of this. Republicans didn't have one vote to do anything to help the Obamacare or the Obamacare COVID enhanced, assistance. This is all Democrats. It's purely Democrats. But somehow now it's Republicans' fault that people may lose their enhanced premium coverage, their subsidies. And Republicans are trying to figure out how they can fix the system. I'll tell you how to fix it right now. You just take and get rid of Obamacare. Throw that thing in the garbage can where it should have been if it wasn't for you, you jerk off, John McCain. Should have been in the garbage can many years ago. 8+ years ago. Thank you for helping destroy the country some more. You're a good rhino, and you did exactly what the Democrats wanted you to. Get rid of Obamacare. It is not my job. And here's what people sit there and say that Republicans are so cold-hearted. I'm not a Republican. I'm a libertarian. And as a libertarian, it's very simple. If it's not in the Constitution, it doesn't belong having the government pay for it. It doesn't belong the government overseeing it or having anything to do with it. And there's nothing in the Constitution about health care. Therefore, there shouldn't be anything that we're paying for in health care. So, where we go to on this, it's not my job to pay for your health care. It's not my job to see to it that you're having your insurance paid for by me so that you can take and use whatever income you have to do the things that you like to do. Remember, Obamacare only covers you up to a certain point of income. Yeah, okay, well, tell me that things are very difficult and things are very hard and inflation has really hurt you really bad. Yeah, we know. Joe Biden and the Democrats gave you 22% inflation, which means very simply that your dollar is worth almost 30% less now than when Joe Biden and the Democrats took control of Congress and government. It's worth a little bit less now, like 2% less, because it's not going to go down, people. We can only try to control its increase. But it's not our job to fix your income. It's not our job, my job, to fix your insurance. It's not my job to make sure you can find a place to live. That is your job. And if you say, I can't live on minimum wage, well, don't get a minimum wage job, get a better job. Do something to improve your skill set so you can. Well, those jobs just aren't out there. I don't know. Let me look at something. Let me see. The head of Ford, CEO of Ford, just said he needed, I can't remember how many thousands, but it was tens of thousands of certified, ASE certified mechanics. They're short that many at Ford dealerships to help fix cars. I don't know if it's just because people aren't wanting to be mechanics or it's just because, well, they're Fords. Too many cars breaking down. Chevy guy here. Actually, Toyota guy here. I like my Toyotas better than I like Chevys, but I'm also a Chevy guy. Anyway, smart like me. Sorry about that. Had to throw that in on you Ford guys. I have a good Ford joke too, but I'm not going to use it here. It is your job to pay for your housing. It is your job as an American individual to pay for your health care. Health care is not a right, like we always hear Bernie Sanders and the rest of you Marxist claptraps always want to say it's a right that everyone should have. Really? Show me in the Constitution where it says it's a right. I can see freedom of speech, religion, press, assembly, grievance, right to bear arms, and a host of other rights in the Constitution. I do not see health care in there, though. I do not see anything, because you know why? Health care isn't a right. Health care is a service. It is a very, very necessary commodity that needs to be paid for. And it's your job to pay for it, not mine. Go get a good job. Pay for your own life. But Republicans, rip the Band-Aid off and get rid of Obamacare. But do not put any more money into the COVID subsidies. Finish that. It is the Democrats' mess, and they need to be held accountable and responsible for it. You didn't do anything to promote it or bring it in to this nation. They did it. They need to take and deal with it. Well, did I annoy anybody with this one? I think I'm annoying some people today. But you know, the truth will annoy those who just would prefer to have the warmth, fuzzy feelings of lies protect their feelings rather than deal with the harsh realities and that truth brings to them. Truth is a bitch. Pretty tough. It's hard on your system. It's even harder on politics because it dismantles what people want to believe. Anyhow, folks, I want to see Obamacare ripped out of our government, thrown on the scrap heap of history, set on fire, and then dig a hole at least 1,000 feet deep and bury it down the 1,000 feet so it's never seen again or heard of. I want those subsidies to end right now. No more subsidies. Pay for your own damn health care. If you have a whole bunch of kids and families and stuff like that, you did that. I didn't. You pay for it. That's part of having a family. You pay for things. You pay for a house. You pay for your car. You pay for food. You pay for electricity. You pay for health care. You pay for insurance. You pay for everything that's necessary. Not my job to do that for you. And making me do it through the taxation system is nothing more than redistribution of wealth and theft. Deal with your own lives, people. Quit making your problems other people's because you make bad decisions. And the biggest and worst decision you can make is being a Democrat and going along with things such as Obamacare. Anyhow, folks, that's the end of this program for today. More on the way.
You've been listening to the Craig L. Hayes Show. Just thinking.